All right, cool. Let's try it now. All right, so we have what? 7, 7, and 7, 8. All right, so truthfully, 7, 7, we'll start with 7, 7, 8, and it's real simple. Let me get to the, so let me pull a problem out here for you, and then I'm gonna copy it over so the people that are watching this recording can see it. Let's see, so where are we at? 7, 7. Did everybody do the, first off, anybody had any issues getting on Hawks? That, so no, everybody's been able to get on. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Did everybody do the? I don't even remember what it's called now. The tutorial pre-test. Y'all did that? Okay. Hmm. Well, you could remember we set up everything last week. Yeah, that was a temporary code. Yeah, that's why I did. That's exactly why I did the temporary code. So we could. That's all right, because you're not going to be able to do the certifies until you do that. All right. All right. So let's go back here. Let's capture this problem. So literally all. So all 7.7a. This is all it's going to ask. It's going to ask you this first term. First of all, it's going to ask you two things which I won't ask you, but this is what Hawks will ask you. It'll say, is it a variable term or is it a constant term? All right. Does anybody know just I want you to use kind of your deductive reasoning. What do you think the difference between a variable term and a constant term is? Somebody. Well, variable term is going to have a what? Or variable. All right, and we understand that the variables are what? What's represented by some letter. In this case, it's what? What's my variable in this one? B. So all I was going to ask is, all right, is it a variable or a constant? This one would be a I can't spell. That's what that is. So this one would be a variable term. All right, and you just select variable term, constant term. The next question is going to be, oh, well, what's the coefficient? So the coefficient, and again, I can't spell. You know what? I could be smart about this. So coefficient is what? -8. And then what's the variable? That's all it's asking for. In 7.7a, that's all it's asking for. Variable term, is it a variable term or coefficient term? What's the coefficient? -8. What's the variable? Boom, you're done with that part of the problem. All right. Then all it's going to ask you is, now it's going to be for the same problem. Then it'll ask you, oh, well, what's the next term? Is it a variable term or a constant term? Variable term. All right. What's the coefficient? +2. Well, yeah, or just 2. But I'm okay that you're knowing that it's a positive or negative. So 2 is the coefficient. What's the variable? That's it. That is what it's asking. So for that one, coefficient's 2, and the variable is s. And then I'll do the next one in green. And then the next one, is that a variable term or a constant term? Constant. All right. And I think it'll ask like, what is that constant term? What's its value? It's going to be what? It's -8 because it's got what? That minus sign in front of it makes that 8. So that value, and I can't remember if it's like value, or it's going to say something else. That value is -8. Literally, that's all it's going to ask for in 7.7a. Okay? Because right now, what we're dealing with today, so tonight we're dealing with what we're calling expressions. Next week, we deal with equations. Okay? Does anybody know the difference between an expression and an equation? Hmm? That's cheap, man. You already know that. So these are expressions. What we're looking at today, like this -8b plus 2s minus 8 is an expression. Okay? The reason why we call it an expression is because it doesn't have an equal sign. So it's not an equation. It's not what we'll learn next week with equations, where, if you remember from school, what you do on one side of the equation, you have to do on the other. We're not dealing with that tonight. You got to know the difference between an expression and an equation. The only thing that you can do with an expression is simplify it. Okay? Which we're going to get into later on tonight. But right now, we're identifying the parts of an expression. Next week when we have equations with equal signs, we will get to that. Okay. And for the record, everybody knows that class is normally on Tuesday, right? Okay, because I think the people in the front, they were like, is he changing it to Wednesdays? I'm like, nope. I was out of town in West Virginia. Had to handle some business. My wife is getting a job offer from West Virginia. So maybe. Don't know yet. We will see. Go. You a grown man. What you asking me for? Dude. You know what? Respect. Respect. Okay. But no, but getting back to the problem. Everybody understand? All right. That's all I was asking for. Let me do a couple more. I usually don't spend too much time on problems like this because, again, these are pretty self-explanatory. I want to find one. Like I said, it's going to be the same. Notice it's the same thing all the way through, but it's not giving me what I want. So, all right. And so for the people that I'm recording for, you guys can't see it, but I'm actually on Hawks looking at some practice problems, and they're asking questions about the practice problem. So where it says here, select the type of term will display any text boxes needed to complete your answer. So when it says term 1, I literally am just going to hit, and hold on, before I do that. Let me at least put this problem, because I hate the only problem with recording is it's only going to show one screen. And so the people that I'm recording it for, when they see it, they're only going to be able to see this screen. So just to help them out. All right, so this is a problem that we're looking at in Hawks. So kind of follow along because I won't be writing anything on this board, but just follow our voice and hopefully you guys can follow along. So on Hawks, where it says, so step 1 of 2, identify the first term of the algebraic expression. Indicate whether the term is a variable term or a constant term. For a variable term, identify the variable and coefficient of the term. Okay? So down here, so in our case, and everybody can see this, what's the first term? -6y. So in this box, I am going to type -6y. Okay? And then I'm going to say it's what type of term? Variable term. And I hate that they do this in reverse order. So the first box says variable. What's the variable? Y is the variable. What's the coefficient? -6. All right. And then I hit submit answer. That make sense? Okay. Go to the next one. All right. So now the same. We're still on this first problem, but now this one. What's the second term? 8z. So in that box, I'm type 8z. Is it a variable term or constant term? Variable. So I will click variable term. What's the variable? What's the coefficient? Anybody lost any sleep yet? Literally, that is the only thing you're doing for 7.78. That is it. Marie said, "Why I come here? Why did I come here for this?" So, huh? Oh, this is the easy one. All right. So I'm gonna do one. I'm doing one, but literally, I mean, if I need to go over some more, like, let me know. Does this make sense? Yes, no? Make sense to you guys? It makes sense? Okay, cool. Let me stop.